Good morning, good afternoon and good evening all. I hope you are well. This is Yorkie065 bringing you episode 9 of my in-depth track guide. This week we're looking at Valencia, and once again we'll follow the usual video format with the breakdown and also the setups and also some general tips to follow. So let's start with the lap. Okay, so now that we've seen the lap, let's move on to the breakdown. As soon as you gain control of the car, you just want to ease off and we're going to cruise into the final turn. As you come through it, you want to accelerate hard, get your DRS open and also start draining your curves, bringing the car over to the left hand side. Turn 1 is completely flat out, make sure to keep your DRS open throughout the duration of the bend. Upon exit, we're going to let the car run out wide and we're going to spot our braking point for turn 2 just before the 100 metre board. The braking zone is slightly curved, so be careful and try not to lock a front wheel. As we hit our braking point, we're going to shift down into first gear, we're going to turn the car in and we're going to ride the curb on the inside, aiming to get our front right wheel here. People do like to cut this corner, but try and avoid it and try and keep two wheels within the white lines. Coming out the exit, we're going to get on the power, we're going to keep it completely flat for turn 3. We're going to get DRS open as soon as the track opens up. And we're going to look for our braking point under the UBS board ready for turn 4. Keeping the car over to the right, we're going to brake relatively hard, we're going to shift it down into second gear, turn the car in just after the 50 metre board and we're aiming to get our front left wheel clipping just after the curb here on the inside. Turn 5 immediately follows, so we have to compensate this by being patient on the throttle. You can give a short stab of it, then you can turn the car in and again aiming to ride the curb on the inside, getting your front right wheel, clipping the apex here. As you clip the apex, you want to start to bring the throttle back in. You're going to let the car run out wide, use the curb on the outside, and open up your DRS as soon as possible. Turn 6 and turn 7 are completely flat out shallow kinks, so no need to worry about them. Turn 8 is our next harsh braking zone, with our braking point at the 100 metre board. Turn 8 itself is a tight right hand hairpin, so we need to brake hard. You're going to shift it all the way down into first gear, you're going to turn the car in and we're aiming to get our front right wheel just up on the curb, clipping it just here. As you clip the apex and come through the corner, you're going to slowly start to apply the throttle once more. You're going to let the car drift towards the middle of the track as we clip turn 9, getting as close to the barrier on the inside as possible, get your DRS open, ready for the braking point for turn 10, just after the shadow on the floor, and also the start of the support beams on the bridge. As we hit the braking point, we're going to brake again, hard, shift it down into first gear, and be patient as we turn the car in. You want to try and avoid the curb on the inside and try not to get too close to the barrier, as bumping into it will cost you time. Coming out the corner, you want to get hard on the power. You want to open up your DRS as soon as possible, and you're going to drain your curves down to about 50% as we come through this long, shallow turn of 11 and down this long, the fastest straight on the track. Our braking point for turn 12 is roughly 140 metres from the corner. You can see the 150 metre board there on the outside. Just after that, and just after the start of the curb, you want to brake hard, shift it all the way down into first gear, turn the car in, and we're aiming to get our front right wheel up on the curb just here. This is another corner that's quite easy to cut, so please try and avoid doing so where possible. As we clip the apex, we're going to slowly bring the throttle back in. We're going to keep it in first gear for turns 13. Flicking the car left, you want to get your front left wheel up on the curb. Clipping the apex, you're going to still be patient on the throttle, as giving it too much power will send the car out wide. You can momentarily open up your DRS, ready for turn 14. Bring the car left, we're going to give it a quick stab of the brake to shut the DRS, turning the car in, and we're aiming to get our front right wheel nice and close to the wall on the inside. If you clip a nice light apex, you'll get a good run, slingshot out of the corner, using the curb on the outside, open up your DRS again, and use about 15 to 20% more of your curves as we come through turns 15 and 16 on our approach down to turn 17. Entering the final sector, our braking point is just before the digital flag box up on the left hand side. Hitting the braking point, we're going to brake hard and shift it down into first gear, keeping the car over to the left hand side of the track. Just before the DHL board, you're going to turn the car in, and you're aiming to get your front right wheel up on the orange and white curbing on the inside of the corner. Clipping this nicely, you can get back onto the power, let the car drift out wide, use a bit of curb on the outside if you feel like you need to, use the DRS as we pull the car back over to the right, shut it for turn 18, just completely flat out, but your apex for this corner is just here, relatively late on the orange and yellow curbing. You want to keep the car in the middle of the track, ready for turns 19 and 20. You want to clip the first one just here. You can just about clip over the yellow and orange curbing and use a bit of the blue tarmac on the inside. These two corners are completely flat out, so let the car drift out wide and then bring it back in for turn 20. Once again, clipping the orange and yellow curbing on the inside. Then coming out through the exit, you want to let the car run out wide once more. You get your DRS open as soon as possible as we shift up into 6 and 7, shifting our brake bias down to the rear, ready for the final corner. As this part of the track opens up, we're looking for our braking point just before the orange and yellow curbing. We're going to give a short stab of the brake and shift it down one gear as we come through the second to last corner. We're going to bounce the throttle a little bit, and then as we come into a straight line, we're going to brake hard, turn the car in, and we're aiming to get our front left wheel here on the inside curb. Providing you clip the apex, you should get a good run coming out the final turn. You can use a bit of the curb on the outside as you bring the power back in, open up the DRS, drain the rest of your curves, and keep the car to the right hand side to complete your lap. As many of you all know, the most difficult braking point in this track is the final turn. The best approach to take it is to shift the brake bias into the rear prior to the last two corners, and as you come through the second to last corner, the right hand kink, shift it down one gear and balance the throttle a little bit, and as soon as the car straightens up, brake hard and shift it down into first. You can, if you want, to try and brake more gradually, but as you come through that right hand kink of the second to last corner, it is quite easy to lock the outside wheel for the final turn, sending you straight on towards the pit entry. So that concludes this episode of the in-depth track guide. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a rating. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below, and obviously don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more in-depth track guides and other future F1 footage. If you've missed any of the previous episodes, make sure to check the description below, and also don't forget to check out the channel. Until next time, take care.